Hi and welcome back to Karen Infill's full house renovation and rear extension here in Yorkshire in the UK. And as you probably guessed, this week's going to be all about groundworks. And also in this video, full house scaffolding gets erected, which definitely wasn't something that we were expecting to need to do. And the reason it's gone up is because we got more problems and unfortunately more significant costs. But we'll get back to that later in the video. In the meantime, back to the groundworks. Now, it's probably not the most exciting topic, although there is going to be a lot of action, but it's certainly essential. These were the materials arriving earlier today, so obviously there's length of pipes coming in, but what you probably can't see from this time lapse is there's lots of manhole covers and fittings and things like that. Everything we need to do to get all of that drainage in for the back of the house.
So the digging starts and the going looks really difficult because in this area it's compacted hardcore.
But Finn's young and fit and he says he's up to the task, so here you can see he's digging like crazy.
Even so, you can see how long it's taking. Just watch the sun as it travels across the garage floor.
So Finn's done about 2 full days on digging for our groundworks on our rear extension, so it's probably a good time to review exactly what's being done and why. And so let's start at the far corner of the house, all the way back here, and work our way across, and it'll all make sense hopefully. So let's get over here to the far corner of our house extension. And this is the highest point. So as you can see here at this top corner of the house, we have a drain pipe. But basically there's a channel that's been cut, and this is to take the water that's running off of the roof into this waste pipe. So let's stand back so that you can visualize where it goes next. So that's the area that we were just talking about, and from there it runs through into what's going to be our open plan kitchen dining area. You can see that little port that was all built in when Mally was doing the block work, so that brings the pipe through the exterior walls, and this basically just runs all the way across the rear extension. Now this diagonal that you can see here, this is because obviously we're going to have a kitchen in this area eventually. And if we move a bit further over here, you'll see there's another diagonal coming along, and that's because in this area we're going to have a utility room. And this is the end of the open plan kitchen diner now, so the port that you see now, that goes through to the new garage extension. So let's stick our head through where the bifold doors are going to go, and this will be the final part of where the drain runs under the house. Again, you can see a little port which is being built between the walls, which allows the pipe to come through, and the pipe's just going to run all the way across the garage and then out the far wall. Let's jump in, and I feel like an acknowledgement is needed for Finn's sheer determination and hard work over the last 2 days, because he's dug all this out by hand, all the way through there and then all the way through here as well. And that's not all, there's actually some more digging on the far side of the wall, which is the border of the property. So let's go check it out. Here you go, a huge amount more digging. And if I jump to the other side without falling in, you can see the final access port through the walls, and this is going to have an area where there's an access port for the drains. That was probably a little bit wordy, but I wanted you guys to at least understand what was being shown. If we go back round the back, Coming up next, we're going to see all this stuff getting installed. So it's going to get pretty interesting.
So it turns out that this last area where the access manhole's going needed to be a lot deeper, but Finn took care of that in short order. And then, after all that time digging, it was time to start filling it in. So it was in with a bit of pea gravel. Apparently that's really good for compacting around pipes and manholes and things like that. And then it's infilling. And what Lee does is he adds a little bit of earth and then he compacts it down. And he adds some more and he compacts again. And the idea is that this makes all of the earth much more compact and stops it from sinking later. It was a lot of work, but it's all in now, which is great news. So let's move on to talk about the scaffolding and why we're moving it up to the full height of the house all the way around.
So we've been having a bit of a dilemma, and it's about the roof. Basically, the roof is in need of some repairs. There's a few areas actually where it's leaking in. So above this window, there's some kind of a problem because it comes in onto the windowsill. And then we've got lots of things stored up in the loft, and there's a few areas where the felt's gone and we get some leaking in. We've got a problem around the chimney. So we haven't really budgeted for a new roof, but the dilemma was we can spend lots of money repairing this roof only to find that we get more problems, and then that money's all wasted. It's a bit like fixing an old car, and I have plenty of experience from doing that too. And as I said, we didn't really have the budget for a new roof, and so we're going to have to compromise in some other areas. This house was built in the mid-60s. It's still got the original roof, so you know, it's had a good innings, but it's well past its sell-by date. So what does this mean for the build? Well, the extension was going to be getting a roof anyway, and there's a particular tile that we've chosen for that. And of course you can see there's some scaffolding here, and so the scaffolding is going to be added to so that the roofers can get access to the very top. And also we're going to make it matching roof tiles up on the roof. Round the front of the house right now, they're busy putting scaffolding on like crazy. It's like an ant's nest because they're running all over. Eventually they'll come round the back here. I'm filming this while it's still quiet.
So Koi Scaffolding arrived earlier this morning and they've been busy unloading and building all of the scaffolding at the front. And once they'd done that, they moved to the back of the property where it was just the upper level of scaffolding that needed to be added to. So I hope you've been enjoying the video. It's been a busy week, and that's the groundworks done and scaffolding up, so we'll be having a new roof soon. But next week is kind of like a moment we've been dreading because it's time for the works to come inside. Because there's beams to install and then pretty soon the back walls to knock out. So If you're enjoying the videos, please give us a subscribe and hopefully we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching, bye for now.